You're killing your business. Ah! Today, we're talking about how you are killing your business by charging too much or charging too little. Dear African entrepreneur, we've all been there. You see a cute new boba shop or a shawarma spot opens up. You see a new ready to wear line and you're excited. You look at their prices and your eyes open. What is going on? How can they charge these prices? Yes, many businesses are guilty of doing this, but are you also guilty of this crime? Pouring your heart and soul into your business, but you're just not making the sales. Could it be that you're charging like your Luele or that you're charging like a Christy Brown? You need to earn the right to charge those prices. Pricing isn't just a random number that you pull from the sky and feel like, today I'm going to charge X for my service. No, it's actually a very specific science, and then you sprinkle some art into it. And many people don't actually understand what goes into pricing. Ask the Mama Benzes in the big markets. They can tell you the right price to buy a tuber of yam just by looking at the buyer. The formula is simple. Total cost plus margin equal to the price. Let's take an example of a shea butter business. It costs 200 cedis to get a 10 kilogram box of shea butter. You add in your fragrance oils, you add in your coconut oil and your baobab oils and all the nice yummy things. You get them into small containers, you put on a label, you're done with your product. Beautiful. Now the price. The total cost for this beautiful container could be $30 and you decide on, say, a 20% margin. That will make your margin $6 on top of this. Okay, let's say for the sake of argument, you round it up to $40. So it costs you $30 to make, you're selling it for $40. But guess what? That's only $10 profit. Are you comfortable with that? Are you happy with it? All this work just for $10? Yes. So what do we as entrepreneurs do? Instead of accepting the $10, we take this beautiful jar of shea butter and decide to price it $100, $120, or even $200. No, no. The problem is perceived value. Customers might be willing to pay $50 and you could sell 100 units of this shea butter. Or you could price it at 120 and probably sell only 5. You might think, well, I'm still making money, but in the long run, you're going to struggle to actually get the sales that you need. Remember, it's about volume and setting a realistic price. You could play the volumes game, and that is how you could actually grow your business. So the question I have for you today, dear entrepreneur, are you overpriced or are you underpriced? Are people running away from your business because of your pricing, or are they coming to you because of your pricing? As we've described, overpricing is when your prices are higher than the perceived value of what you're offering and customers are not willing to pay. I've seen people selling a basic pack of jollof in Accra, which should not cost more than 120 cedis for 200 cedis. And you ask yourself, why? This isn't gourmet jollof. This is not exceptional jollof. This is not jollof coming from this is not jollof coming from a Michelin star restaurant. So why must it cost that much? Same for clothing. If you're Orange Culture, if you're Andrea Yama, you can actually afford to command a premium for your products. But if you just began your clothing brand, please, 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 please be reasonably priced. Can we stop with the pricing of things like a brand that is well established? If I look at Christy Brown and she's pricing certain things at, let's say, a top at $150, have you seen the finish? My all-time favorite designer, Dwaba Sewa, Ghanaian designer. Have you seen the finish? Have you seen the fabric choice? Have you seen the detail? If she prices it at $200, I buy it. I buy it because I know that I'm getting quality, I'm getting value for money. Mind you, I have pieces that I've bought that have lasted years. That's what we expect when we buy high quality, high end designer pieces, that they will last because it's quality made. However, when you are a new brand, you don't have the reputation, you don't have the expertise, you don't have the consistent quality, you haven't proven yourself. So I'm not saying that you don't deserve to charge higher, but I'm advising you that you should not charge higher. You should charge at a reasonable price and get to build your brand. Build your brand meaning you get a reputation, you get your systems in order, you get that consistency and the quality. People will basically begin to tell you that your items should be priced more. And I can tell you, whether it is service, whether it is goods, you need to check your pricing. Your strategy should not be to mimic the pricing of the well established brand from the very beginning. You should rather focus on your quality, focus on your service delivery, focus on your customer service and your brand. Then at a later stage, you can command these prices. Without the brand recognition of these large brands, you cannot command these prices. So focus on the quality, focus on the service delivery, and focus on making sure that you are able to replicate or produce your clothes at the highest quality consistently over time. And trust me, people will be willing to pay higher prices in the long run. Underpricing. On the other hand, you could also be leaving money on the table. Yes, you're making some very intricate jewelry, handmade, unique pieces, and you're selling it for just a little bit because you're afraid that it will be too expensive. This is when you should ask yourself, are you producing something that is unique, that is one of a kind, that has great value, or is it something that can be picked up anywhere? If you're a brilliant jeweler and you're producing something that is unique, you can invest in your brand, get your name to be known, make sure that your items are priced well enough to be able to cover your costs. Iroko TV, the popular streaming platform, actually began as a free platform. Over time, they realized that customers saw great value in their content and then they began charging. This is an example of people seeing their value, realizing they were leaving money on the table, and going back and taking it all. There are many successful businesses that use flexible pricing. They understand that the price of a product is not fixed forever. So sometimes they offer sales. Big brands, big retailers do this. They offer discounts at the end of the season. If the items are perishable, it's in your interest to have clearance sale, huge discounts so that you get them. Do this early enough so that you can recover the cost and you're not at a complete loss. Also, when there's a glut in the market, when it's tomato season, there's no point in keeping your price high when everyone else is selling. Reduce your price so that you can actually move and you are playing the volumes game. Finally, there's the option of targeting different customers with different prices. If you're selling to someone who is buying in bulk as a wholesaler, your pricing should be much less than to an individual who's picking one single item. This is actually a great way of segmenting your market and identifying different people to sell to. Remember, differential pricing is nothing strange. Even multi-choice DSTV has different packages for different prices. So know who your customer is and you can craft an offering for them. Successful companies focus on providing valuable, consistent services or products, and this is how they make it in the long run. Did you find this information useful? Subscribe for more content like this, and together we can grow your African business into a sustainable, consistent, premium brand.